Hey everybody, welcome to Hump Day Hangouts. This is episode 74. Today is the 6th of April. With me we got 3/5 of the crew today, although I think Chris might be joining us later. Hernan is out and about traveling through some far-flung places, so I don't think he's going to be joining us for a couple of weeks. But we'll go down the short line that we have today. So Marco, how's it going, man?
I'm sitting in my bat cave, man, where it's dank and dark, but it's nice and warm and sunny outside.
Yeah. Nice. What would the temperature be, roughly?
It's about 85,
All right.
like forever. Since I got here January 6th, it's always the same thing, 85 during the day, around 70 at night.
Oh,
Wow.
man. Nice. Bradley, how about you? Are you weathering the snowstorm?
Well, it's better now. It snowed yesterday morning briefly, and it was cold. It was like 22 degrees this morning. It's ridiculous, but now it's 56, so it's getting warm. It's getting balmy.
Nice. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, time to put on the shorts and go outside.
Yeah, it's kind of odd for this time of year, like April in Virginia, for it to be this cold though. So I don't know what the hell's going on.
Good deal. And I predicted it. I was feeling psychic powers. There's Chris. Chris, you there?
Christmas presents.
He may be connecting. Anyways, we'll get to him in a bit. We got just a couple announcements.
Chris is
there he
here.
is. Hey, what's up, Chris? How's it going? Don't leave me hanging.
Just kidding. He was just kidding.
All right. Anyways, we'll get through the announcements real quick. Obviously, IFTTT 2.0. If you joined up, we're happy to have you. I think we got several people here who recently joined. If not, by all means, please go check it out, IFTTTSEO.com. And also wanted to talk real quick about Serp Space. I mean, obviously, we mentioned it. It's where you can order your IFTTT networks, network management, soon-to-be press releases, and also, of course, Video Powerhouse. We've been working on Video Powerhouse. There's now 3 categories you can choose from. And so along with that and some other updates, we're going to be increasing the price because basically it's been in kind of an early launch phase for longer than we intended it to be. We were intended to have several networks by kind of the middle of the winter, but with all the projects we had going on, it took more time than we thought it would. So I'll put the Serp Space link in there. It's free to sign up for an account and check it out. Also, the affiliate program is now live in case you haven't heard. So by all means, go check that out. If you know our products and you want to promote them, you can make a good amount of money with those. We're offering right now 10% commission on everything, and that includes recurring. So.
And if I can ask you just a quick question for the benefit of whoever's listening in, what the categories are currently in Video Powerhouse and what the categories to be added are or will be?
That is a very good question. I'm logging in right now because I don't want to misspeak unless,
Well,
Bradley, you know them off the top of your head.
The first one, the category 1, which was the original one, it was just general marketing because we had to start somewhere, that would gave us the broadest ability for people to submit to. So it's just a general marketing, or just essentially general category. Category number 2 is travel, leisure, and real estate. Category number 3 is contracting and home services, or contractors and home services. All right, so our goal is to have 100 sites in each category, and I think we've got something like 60 sites or something like that in category 2, and like 50 sites in category 3. So we've got to finish building those out, but we're going to still add 2 more. I think two or 3 more categories. One of them is going to be health related, so like health and wellness. Another one's going to be like financial services, financial banking, that kind of thing. So it'll be like business and financial, essentially. And then I can't remember what the last one is off the top of my head. I'd have to go back and look at my notes.
Cool. And word on the street, or not on the street, rather, word in the secret grapevine is that there's going to be some more integrations coming with Video Powerhouse and some, I'll just say, some very well-known tools that are known to be very effective in terms of click-through rate, among other things. But we'll leave it at that for now. And that is all I got for now. Anybody else got something?
Not me. How about you, Marco?
I can't say. I'd have to shoot myself.
Well, don't do that. Don't tell us.
Automotive. I see Sherry Dutt posted. Automotive. Yeah. Maybe. There might be a car category, too. We'll see. I can't remember what it is. I don't think it was that, but that might fit into one of the other categories. So we'll see what we can do. As it continues to grow, we might add more and more. Who knows? So, All right. Anything else we want to talk about, or are we just going to go right into questions? We got a lot of them.
Yeah, I guess we can just get into it.
All right, let's do it then. You take the screen. That's not the right button. Let's try this one. Okay, you guys should be seeing my screen now.
Yep.
If you're not. Okay. All right, we got a lot of questions. We can see a lot of them posted from one individual, so I'm going to let Marco chat about that briefly before we get too far into them. You want to mention something, Marco? I'm going to focus on playing good cop, bad cop.
The thing is that this is meant for something, for us to answer general SEO questions, to give people a free forum for this. So we want to give as many people a chance to ask questions as possible. If one person monopolizes the entire Hangout, we can't service the greatest amount of people in the short time that we have. And so what we ask you is keep your questions, one or two, or if you put multiple questions like this, we'll get to the first ones, then we'll move on to other people, and if we have time, we will come back to additional questions. But we can't just do one person for the entire hour. If that's the case, then what we suggest is that you use our one-on-one coaching page. Adam, can you get that link, please? Because this is more like one-on-one coaching.
Yeah, or join the mastermind where you'll have access to the community where you can ask questions pretty much as often as you want. That's
absolutely, and it will cost you way less to join the masterclass and the mastermind than it would to get private coaching. Although we're all available for private coaching.
Yeah, and so just to let you guys know, if you have multiple questions, it's okay to post multiple questions, but what I would suggest that you do is that you post one or two questions and then make sure you attend live, and then once other people have had a chance to post some questions, then drop another question, then wait for a few other people to post and then drop another question, and that way you can still get your questions answered, but instead of it just being a block of all questions from one person, because that's really not fair to everybody else. That's all I'm saying. So all right, so let's get into it, guys. Mark O'Connell says, hey, guys, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you on V2. It's one of the best, if not the best, online marketing courses available probably ever, and I've bought many. Very well done. I will +1 that. Thanks, Mark. That's really nice to hear. But I have a dilemma. To niche or not to niche? That is the question. I've heard you say in a webinar that when starting out online, you should have targeted niches or industries that interested you. I would love to help video production companies with their online marketing because I love video, especially with your training, but I feel I may be limiting myself and have a strong urge to build loads of random networks and just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. I don't mind throwing shit at the wall, but it's only me right now, so would this be the best use of my time and energy, or should I go beast mode and keep building networks for the one niche and build extra tumblrs, Weeblies, etc., all in the same niche? What would Bradley Benner do? Great question, Mark. Okay, so yeah, guys, if I had to start it all over, I would have stuck with one industry or niche. It could be a broad niche that has multiple sub niches, but that's what I would have stuck with. Instead of going wide, I would have gone deep, if that makes sense. So, for example, mainly what I deal with, guys, is home services and contractors. That's for my client base and my lead gen business. Don't get me wrong, I have clients in other industries, but that requires so much more work because not so much now because I don't really take on new clients in new industries, but when I had to take on new clients in new industries, or when I would take on a new client that was in an industry that I was unfamiliar with, I would have to learn that industry. I'd have to do all the keyword research over again. I'd have to find where the pain points were. I would have to understand the jargon, find out how to talk to those kind of people, you know what I mean, as far as the clients that I would be servicing, and then also be able to help with the copy for speaking to their market, for the advertisements or the calls to action and stuff like that. So it's an enormous amount of work, and that's why, like I said, I could have scaled much quicker if I had focused in on one particular industry. And when I say it can be a little bit broader, let's put it this way. Even as working in the home services industry, there's a lot of sub niches there, and it still requires a lot of work. So what I mean by that is if I wanted to target electricians or work with electricians, and then work with HVAC guys, and then work with tree service guys, landscaping guys, roofers, fencing contractors, all of those, like, you still have to go through all that work, like of doing keyword research and all that kind of stuff. Although they're similar industries in that they're in like the home improvement or home repair industries, there's still a lot of additional work. So personally, if I had to do it all over, I would have stuck with one industry. I would have found one industry that would have a lot of potential for the types of services that I would offer, which means typically they're high ticket or high priced with high margin, high profit margin industries with that also there's a demand for. And then I would have stuck with that. And my golden goose, so to speak, in the lead gen business is the tree service industry. And so that's something that I really worked on building up over the last few years is my tree service lead gen business. And that is it's a great industry to be in. So I'm just saying if I had to do it all over again, I probably would have just honed in on that one industry and just scaled really, really deep into that instead of going wide to all these other different types of contractors. So that's what I say, guys, just because you're a lot more efficient that way. And once you get to know one particular industry and you get to know it well, it's so much easier to go pitch your services to other either lead gen service providers to buy leads from you or to do even client consulting, because you'll know that industry. You already know what their pain points are. You already know how to speak to them. You've already been through the pitch multiple times as you start to build that business. So you'll know what kind of objections you're going to get when you're doing a pitch or when you're prospecting. And so it just makes it a lot easier to scale if you stick to one particular industry, guys. Like, be a big fish in a small pond instead of a small fish in a big pond. Does that make sense? Does anybody want to add to that?
Well, yeah. One other thing, when you become the go-to person in that niche, in whatever that small pond is, when you're the big dog, then you can pretty much set your feet at whatever it is that you feel like charging, and people will have to pay because they will know you are the person who will deliver the results that they need.
That's right. So yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, you can charge higher prices when you're a specialist in a particular industry. You can charge higher prices, and you'll be more efficient with it too. So it'll be actually less work for you, and you'll make more money, right? And so that's what I recommend, Mark. I know you're gung ho right now, and that's great. But to be honest with you, I would stick with one. Like, find one industry, make sure that there's good profit potential there for you. Like that it meets the certain criteria, high margin, there's a demand, that kind of thing, and then scale into that one niche. You can pick a couple if you'd like, but honestly, I wouldn't do more than 2 or 3 at a time. Okay. Greg says, welcome back, Bradley and Adam. Last week, Hernan and Marco had great answers. If you are linking from your own property to a citation, my question today is similar but different to last week. How to create a backlink to a citation when the linking property like Tumblr is not owned by your brand. In the Tumblr, what types of text and anchor text would be used? To clarify, this would be a Tumblr not related to my brand at all, and it would be used to link to a Yelp or Yellow Pages. What would you actually do to create that link? This is where I went for knee surgery. These guys are great. I really have no idea. Thanks. You can do that. I mean, the thing is if you're just linking to citations can be they're not your money site. You know what I mean? Like, they typically are going to be a lot higher domain authority. They can take more like direct keyword anchor text links. Don't spam them, but you could be a bit more aggressive with your anchor text when building links to citations. Just be careful. Like, if it's a do follow link, you just got to make sure that you're not overly aggressive with your anchor text, because your anchor text ratios will pass through a do follow to the final destination, the target URL, which would be your money site. So, but for most citations are going to be no follows anyways. And so yeah, you can be a bit more aggressive, but still mix it up. Keep your backlink, your anchor text ratio diverse. I like to you can use brand anchors when linking to citations because that makes sense. Right, there was a thread in the Facebook community, the Facebook group for the new IFTTT SEO Academy group, and somebody asked about using FCS and GSA to boost networks, to boost IFTTT networks, and what the anchor texts were used, like what types of ratios to use. And what I usually do is just set up very broad keywords, a mix of very broad keywords, generics and naked URLs. And somebody replied and said, well, what about brand anchors? Can you use brand anchors to link to your IFTTT properties. Yes, if it's a branded tier 1 network that you're linking to, that would make sense. Same thing goes with the citation, because those are properties that are specifically referencing your brand. So you can build branded anchor text links to tier 1 properties. Just don't overdo it. You want a really diverse mix of links going to those properties as well. So that's why I recommend it. Even for citations, you can use a good mix of branded anchor text links, naked URLs, and keyword anchors, and phrases like what you have here, long phrases. That tends to work really well because that really speaks to the hummingbird algorithm, which is also part of which helps mobile search too. These types of natural language pattern anchor text phrases, that they actually help with mobile SEO too. Okay, so number 2 is I have products review site, so it is a national brand, not local. Is an actual address needed or recommended to set up a national brand Google My Business page and additional citations? Okay, well remember, Greg, there's 2 different types of Google My Business pages, right? There's local and brand pages. There's a local page, then there's a brand page. So if you're not a local business, then I would probably just stick with a brand page. If you are a local business, then go with a local page. You can have both, by the way. You can have a local page and a brand page. That's perfectly fine to do. Okay? But if you're a national brand, you're probably going to want to focus your attention on the brand page, not the local page, because you don't want to pigeonhole yourself by what good is ranking in maps, which is what your local page is kind of connected to via the back end of Google. If you're a national brand, what good is it to rank in maps other than for people that are searching for whatever your product is in your local area? That makes sense. So I would be focusing my attention on a brand page and not a local page, if that were the case. Okay. However, on the flip side of that, if you're a local business, you can still have a local page and a brand page, but I would focus my attention on the local page. Does that make sense, guys? All right.
That made perfect sense. You can also be a brand with multiple locations across the nation.
That's correct too. Yep. Chris Chapman says, hi, is it okay to start adding citations before verifying the Google My Business page? We know Google likes to be first. Chris, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it, because what happens if you never end up getting to verify the listing for whatever reason, or what happens if you verify the listing and then the listing comes, which I've seen Google do. Google will automatically edit the address after it's been verified, and the address in your listing will be slightly different. And what I mean by that is, let me pull up a notepad file and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Let me blow this up a little bit. Come on. All right, so let's say it's 123 Main Street is your main address, and then all of a sudden Google, for whatever reason, makes it this. And if you start building citations to this address, even though this looks the same, guys, it's not. I mean, it is the same, but Google, as far as the algorithm is concerned, these are slightly different. And so what I like to do is wait till the Google My Business listing has been verified, and then give it 2 or 3 days, and then go check it when I'm not logged into that account, or because it's usually not instant. Like if you update, like for example, if you verify a Google My Business page, and then you make a slight edit to the description or to anything like that, sometimes those changes won't be seen publicly right away. You'll see them because you're editing from that account, but go check it in another browser, and oftentimes you won't see those edits immediately. So it'll take 24 hours or 24 to 72 hours, so 1 to 3 days, and then those changes will take effect. So what I recommend doing is wait till it's verified, give it 3 days or so, and then go check it in a browser, a clean browser. Take a look at the listing, make sure everything looks right, and then start building citations. Okay, that way you build citations to exactly how Google has it listed. One other thing you should do, guys, is whenever you're setting up your Google My Business listing, your local page, go to the I don't have the website off the top of my head, but you want to go validate the address to make sure that it matches the postal, I forget what the valid the postal address validator thing is, but you want to make sure it's a valid street address the way that the post office has it, and set your business listing up that way. Okay, And then from that point, once you get your Google My Business page up and verified, then you start building all your citations to match that. That's what I would do. For lead gen, do you suggest using the same header images for all city subdomains? It doesn't matter, Chris. I mean, like, use the same Twitter header for all subdomains and just alter the city name. Yeah, that's fine. Like, if it's the same brand, it doesn't matter, right? Like, Target doesn't change their brand image because it's not different from Washington, D.C. to Dallas. It's not like Target has a Washington, D.C. brand image and then a Dallas brand image that's different. So why would you do it any differently, right? If it's the same brand, it doesn't matter how many locations you're in. It should be the same type of image, right? It should be the same branding. Okay. All right. This was a question from the Facebook group. Okay, this is kind of like people that have asked in the past. I know some of you guys are new, so I'm going to try to answer this. But when people have asked us many times, how many networks is it going to take for me to rank this? I always say the same answer, as many as it takes, because there is absolutely no way for me to be able to answer that. There's just too many variables that have to be considered. So, like, I can never tell you how many networks it's going to take to rank anything. Period. It's always going to be the same answer. That said, let me read this question. How do you guys determine how big the IFTTT network probably needs to be when you get started? For instance, I have two projects, a local pay-per-lead site for a fairly simple local service niche and a CRM SAS software as a service product that's in a fairly competitive market. I'm going to the training but having trouble grasping on a strategic level how to look at this stuff and go, okay, to start, I should plan on building X. Okay, so if I'm doing blog syndication, I've mentioned this throughout the training, guys. I hammered this home throughout the training. I do a tier 1 branded network. That's it. That's it. If it's for a YouTube syndication network, I start off with a full 2-tier network just to start, and then I usually stack multiple, usually somewhere between 3 to 5 full 2-tier networks on any one YouTube channel. That's typically how I do it, but I just start with one full 2-tier network on YouTube. For blog syndication, I do one tier 1 branded network, and I'm done. That's it. Then I spend a lot of time and effort boosting the hell out of that tier 1 branded network. Okay? So my simple answer to you is, how big or extensive should your network probably be? If it's for websites, it should be one branded tier 1 network. That's it. The way that you get more power out of your networks is twofold. There's two things that you need to do. Number one, start publishing content from your site, your money site, which is going to be syndicating to your tier 1 branded network. Publish high quality content on a consistent and regular basis. Your frequency of publishing is going to be a huge factor in how effective your network is, right? But you can't just put out shitty, spammy content either. You've got to put out decent content. Once these networks are set up for blog syndication, guys, you should be focusing on content creation and frequency of publishing. Publishing often and publishing good content. Once you do that, that's going to, over time, it's going to take some time. The more competitive the niche, the longer the time it's going to take. The less competitive the niche, the less time it's going to take. Okay, but you should be focusing on publishing good content, using your blog syndication to build backlinks, internal links to the pages on your site that you're trying to rank for keywords. Start building, remember, build silo structure on your site. Start adding more and more supporting articles. So remember, each silo, you want to continue going deeper and deeper into that silo. So you just keep adding more and more supporting articles that's decent, high-quality content that's linking up throughout the silo, that's going to boost the entire overall theme of that silo, right? And that's going to help you to start rising in the search engines for those different silo phrases. Remember, you want to keep everything themed really, really well. So your keyword sets need to be very tight within silos, okay? That's number one. Then number two, the second most important thing to do is boost your IFTTT networks. And there's multiple ways you can do that. We talk about it in the training. You can also buy link building services from us. You can use PBNs. You can use SAP links. You can go out and buy PBN blasts from people. You can build your own PBNs. I don't care what it is that you do. You just want to boost up your IFTTT networks, your tier 1 branded network. You don't want to spam the hell out of it because they're extensions of your brand. You want to do a layer of somewhat high quality links. So your tier 2 links, which link to tier 1, right? Your tier 2 links should be of somewhat high quality with relevancy, number one, right? And then from there, behind that, your tier 3 links, you can start throwing spam at your tier 2 links. Does that make sense? So tier 3 links to tier 2, right? So your tier 3 links can be more spam type links, and that's just purely for link equity. You don't have to worry so much about relevancy and all that other stuff at that point. All right, so I can't give you an idea like how many networks should you have. I can tell you, I would personally, I'd have one tier 1 network for each project, period. That's it. If it's YouTube, build as many as you want.
The only thing I would add to that is when you do start link building and doing everything else that you're going to do, don't do it all at once.
That's right.
You know, take your time, go through it, because if you affect it positively through something that you do, you want to know what it is that you did that affected it positively, and if you affect it negatively, you want to know what it was that affected it negatively, and you also want to keep track because you want to know when it's dancing. You need to know that you can't keep hitting it when it's dancing. Sometimes you just have to let it rest, give it a chance to settle, see where it goes, and then come on with the next round of whatever it is that you're going to do.
So you brought up a good point, and so like what I do is for blog syndication networks, guys, I'll build a tier 1 branded network. I like to post at least 3 posts from my main blog to populate the tier 1 branded network. So essentially the tier 1 branded network is now populated with seed content. At least 3 posts. I like to do like a minimum of 3. So like do like 3 to 5 posts from your main money site that's going to start adding content through the syndication, the automatic syndication, to your network properties. Then you can do a tier 1 link blast. So essentially you can start to boost your tier 1 properties immediately, right? You can start to do that immediately and then continue from that point on. Just keep working on producing content on a regular schedule. Get on a consistent publishing schedule. The more the competitive niche, or the more competitive it is, then the more frequent you should be publishing, because that's going to speed it along. But it's going to take some time, guys, unless you're in a low competition niche. In the case study that we did for the masterclass, the local case study, I'm not going to reveal that site because not all of you are in the masterclass, but some of you are, and you'll know what I'm talking about. I took a brand new site, brand new website, just registered a domain. I created a Google My Business local page, an IFTTT network. We did several posts. I had a VA that was doing my blog posting, which is like how I do all my content marketing. I have VAs do it for me, curated blog posts. We have a specific training course called Curation Mastery. It'll teach you exactly the types of content that we use. And she posted, I think it was either 8 or 12 blog posts to the blog. We did 1 blast of citations, and I did 1 link building blast, the same link building blast that you guys can buy from Serp Space. It's my people that do those link blasts to the IFTTT network, and we rank number 1 for 4 out of the 5 keywords. And we're in the top 3 in the maps pack right now for 4 out of the 5 keywords. So, and that was it. It was a brand new site, guys, and did all of that in, I think, I don't know, 6 or 8 weeks. I think it was probably 8 weeks. It just takes a little bit of time. A low competition niche, guys, you can pretty much rank with just an IFTTT network and some citations. If you're doing higher competition stuff, it's going to take more time. It's going to take more content, producing of content, more links, everything else. But that's just the way it is. Okay. All right, Michael says, hello guys, I have a health-related website and want to use some tumblrs and other web 2s as tier 2 backlinks. I have some that are well-themed but not related to my niche or website. One strong Tumblr is clean but was from a rock band. Another is all about books. Can I completely retheme them to be all about health and use them as tier 2 backlinks to a guest post? Tier 2 to a citation sort. Thanks. Yeah, Michael, absolutely. Because those are tier 2 links, right? So they're pointing to tier 1 properties. That's okay to do that. I just would never redo that. I would never retheme something and point it as directly to my money site anymore. I don't do that anymore at all, because Google's looking out two tiers back now, and so if they're looking at now, you got to think about your money site, right? First, it's looking to tier 1, and all the sites that you've built at tier 1, whether they're citations or they're IFTTT properties or whatever, they're going to be themed and relevant, branded. So they're going to be directly themed and relevant to what your money site is, right? And now if you link back, if you go one step back and you look at the tier 2 content, then you're in the linking sites, and you've got themed content there that's linking to you. Like the content on that site is themed. It's relevant to what it's linking to, which would be your tier 1 properties. Then that's your 2 hops. What's beyond that, the sites that are linking to tier 2, Google's not looking at right now. They may in the future, so just keep that in mind. The more relevancy you can get at every tier, the better you are. The safer you are long term, if that makes sense. But for right now, it's just looking at two tiers back, so you'd be okay. Okay, you can absolutely do that. At that point, you're just looking at like pushing equity, right? Link equity, link juice, whatever you want to call it. Nate says, I would like to know how to unspin articles with super spun articles, software to get more articles. Of course, I know how to spin them. Could someone answer this question, please? Yeah, Nate, I'm going to answer it for you so you stop emailing me.
I posted the website that I use. I posted the link.
Yeah, but I want to just walk through a very simple exercise on how to find stuff like this.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're going to go over to Google and we're going to say unspinner tool. And we're going to click on this first link in the Google search results. And hot damn, there's a tool right there that I can post a spun article in and click convert, and it will unspin it for me. So go to Google, type in your query, check the results, and there's your result. Go to Google and type in unspinner tool, and this one happens to be spinnertools.com. Spinnertools.com, once again, spinnertools.com. And you can paste a spun article in here, click convert, and it will spit out an unspun version. Then you copy it and paste it. And then you click convert, it'll spit out another version. Convert, another version. I think you guys get the idea now. Okay? Greg says, hey guys, I have a national site reviewing a product similar to treadmills without disclosing exact site URL. It is close to this, allinclinetreadmills.com. I'm considering a 301 redirect to a new domain due to its current EMD status and lack of silo structure. I also want to set up an IFTTT network. I want to order the network soon, but I am also unsure if I will in fact redirect the website or what the site URL will be in the future. Number one, could I set up the IFTTT network now with a more generic brand name like Indoor Workouts? Then if the site URL stays as allinclinetreadmills.com, can I then use text in the headers of the branded network and website like Indoor Workouts by All Incline Treadmills and use the Indoor Workouts as the URL on the network properties and keep as the website URL? I've got a headache all of a sudden. Or do the website and network URLs need to match? No, but I would just hold off. Just make the decision, Greg. Either you're going to keep that domain or you're going to go to a new domain. Just make the decision before you order the network. That's what I would do, because otherwise you're doing a whole bunch of additional work. Like if you order the network now with that pretty much exact match domain that you have now, and then you decide to change it a week down the road or 2 weeks down the road or a month down the road, whatever. Now I would want to go back through the network and update the URL on all the properties personally. That's what I would want to do. So, and why not just go ahead and make the decision now as to what you're going to do so that it's set up right the first time is all I'm saying. Okay, so either stick with that domain and run with it, or go with a new domain before you order. If you've already got a network in place, guys, for those of you, because I know the question is going to come up, for those of you that might have a network already and then you decide that you want to swap the URL out, then, or in 301 the old URL, that's fine. But I would still probably go through the networks and update the URLs. Personally, I would. Even though the redirect will redirect to where it wants to go and you'll still push the link equity and all that other stuff, I would still want to, especially for a branded network, go back through and make it nice and pretty. And so, treat it as if it was a money property. It is. A branded network is nothing, it's a digital asset, right? Treat it as such. Number two, if I redirect the site to a subdomain of a new health site, how long will the site lose its rankings and be disrupted? It is 2 years old and ranks page 1 for some good terms, so I know it will suffer some disruption. Yeah, it will. It'll do some dancing. For the most part, though, if your new site has tight on page, like everything's really good on page with your new site, and you're just redirecting, there will be some dancing. There's no question. Usually, it's just a matter of a couple weeks that it'll come back, and if your on page is really good, you'll usually come back to where you were before. Sometimes if the on page is better, you'll come back in an even better position. And it's sometimes if the on page isn't as good, you'll come back, but you won't be as strong, and it's going to take some additional work to get you back to where you were. But typically with that sort of a deal, like because I've done that several times over the last few years, where I've had like we've changed the domain on a particular business. A lot of them lead gen sites, for example, going from EMDs to more branded sites and branded domains, I mean. And it will, dance. It takes a few weeks, but typically it comes back. And because I de-optimized the domain by using a branded domain instead of an EMD, I end up coming back stronger. It just takes a few weeks of dancing, and it's a little bit painful during those few weeks, but it comes back and it's better, and it's most likely to not get hit later on for being over-optimized, if that makes sense. Okay, Rick says, what is a more effective tool for testing the rankability of keywords, Buddy VIP or Serp Shaker? Why or when might you choose one over the other? Rick, both of them are required. Buddy VIP is for testing videos. Serp Shaker is for testing WordPress sites. So that's your call. Are you going to be doing video SEO, or are you going to be ranking WordPress sites? That's what's going to determine. If I'm looking to do video SEO and I'm looking to poke terms or test terms, I will use either Buddy VIP or Hangout Millionaire to test video SEO to see which, because remember, you could rank a video for a keyword that you upload to your channel that goes through an IFTTT network or not. It could be one of those keywords that just automatically you rank #1 or on the first page of Google with a video for your particular keyword. And then you say, oh, wow, this is a really easy keyword, and you go build a WordPress site, put some really good content on it, and it takes you 3 months to rank it on page 1. And likewise, on the flip side of that, there are some times where you can rank a WordPress page very, very easily, but a video, it's a bitch to rank on page 1. So it just depends on the keywords. And so it really depends on what you're doing. If you're looking specifically to rank keywords for videos for specific keywords, use Buddy VIP. If you want to test WordPress sites, use Serp Shaker or Lead Gadget. One of those. That's all I can tell you. It just depends. If you're trying to do both, then use both. Okay. Sorry, but that's essentially what it is. Buddy VIP is for videos, Serp Shaker is for WordPress sites. Kenny, howdy, Kenny here. So I really want to get into the rank and rent sites. I've never done it before, but feel like I could get a site ranking pretty well. I downloaded a guide recently that went through a process of buying an EMD, Service Plus City, building a simple site with good on page, then pointing PBN links at it. Okay. I don't recommend using an EMD. Seriously, that's probably an outdated PDF. If that's the case, if you bought a PDF guide about that, it's probably a little bit older, because that used to be the preferred method, but I don't recommend doing that now, guys. You should be using like pseudo brand, fake brand names, because otherwise you're going to be already in a position where it's very easy to over optimize when you've got an exact match domain. Okay, so go with a branded domain. It's much, much better for longevity as well, and it's easier. You won't trip over optimization filters near as easily when you're using a branded domain. But other than that, yeah, that's a great strategy. You can use PBNs to build to rank those. But I see where you say, I asked in the IFTTT V2 Facebook group if I could just use an IFTTT network to rank these type of sites, and got some good answers from people who have done this. I just wanted your guys' opinion. Maybe make a quick run through of how you would do it to bring in some money as fast as possible. Thanks, Kenny. Great question. And just like I told whoever it was that I was answering down here, yes, you can do it with IFTTT networks instead of PBNs. If it's a lower competition niche, you can do all you'll need to do, especially rank and rent. I recommend, if you're doing that strategy, that you go get a mailbox, get it at the post office, use the street address option if you want, get a physical address, create a Google My Business local page when you're creating your networks, your IFTTT branded network. So then start populate, just like I mentioned earlier. You want to start with at least 3 seed posts going from your money site to your syndication network, your branded network. Start building a citation batch, a batch of citations, like 30 to 50 citations, good citations. Okay, there's a couple different services you could use. Loganix is one of them that's got a really good service for like $300 or something like that. You could do it yourself. You could hire other services to do it if you wanted, but get some citations built. populate your IFTTT network with content, get on a consistent blog posting schedule, and then if you have additional link building tools, you can use those to boost your IFTTT network, but it's not necessary. Okay? That makes sense? That's what I would do.
Yeah, absolutely. And then not only that, if he wants if it's his PBN that he's building rather than renting or whatever, then the best thing to do for that is drop an IFTTT syndication network around the PBN, and then just keeping everything relevant so that the PBN adds relevancy to whatever it is that he's doing in tier 1 and on money site. It keeps everything, it binds everything.
Yep, absolutely. All my PBNs have IFTTT networks. You know, that's one way you can make them look more real, because you make the PBNs look like they're real sites, real blogs, right? And you put an IFTTT network around them. And because don't all real sites have either an identity behind them or a brand, right? All real sites have behind them, or they have a real business behind them. And PBNs don't. And so if you put an IFTTT network around your PBN sites that are well themed, they're all interlinked the way we show you guys. Everything's connected. You're not hiding the footprint from your IFTTT network to your PBN. You're claiming your footprint. That's what real people and real businesses do. That's why our PBNs are stronger, right? So it's a good point, Marco, because that's something you could do. Is if you're building your own PBNs, then put an IFTTT network around each one of them, make them look a lot more real. You add the social aspect to it too as well. All right, Dean's got multiple questions here. We're not going to be able to go through all his questions because we're almost out of time, so we're going to answer like the first one, and then we're going to have to skip above, and if we have time, we'll come back, but I doubt that we will because we've only got about 8 minutes left. Dean said, just wanted to say I approached 2 of my clients with the IFTTT model, and although both never paid that day, they both were totally sold. Okay, looks like it was an introductory price, as I have not myself seen it in action yet, so roughly $500 for a full 2-tier network. And 30 pounds, I guess that is, per month maintenance fee. That's great. Hey, Dean, you got to start somewhere, man. That's really good. Once you get a little bit more comfortable and confident, you should absolutely raise your prices, though. I charge $700 for a tier 1 network only when I'm billing local clients, and Marco tells me all the time I'm not charging enough. So that's just for a tier 1 network only.
You're giving shit away.
What's that? How
You're
am I
giving
giving
your
shit away?
You give your networks away.
I give my networks away for $700.
It's a gift.
It costs me to have my VAs build them like under $50.
I know, but just imagine the work that the client would have to put in.
Yeah,
if they had to do.
Yeah, I'm a cheapskate though, man. All right, the next one, with regards to boosting sites with IFTTT rings, I hear your wisdom of only tier 1s for sites and for multi-tiers for YouTube. I also hear your wisdom on having the outer rings sharing multiple sources to make masket sharing only mine if one did go the multi-tier IFTTT for sites. Okay. My question is, if only one fully incorporates lower tiers, if one fully incorporates lower tiers with a mixture of mine and others' content for a website booster rather than a YouTube channel boost, is this safe? Or are you saying that even if sharing multiple content sources down on tier 2 or 3, is it still risky? Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know how many times I've hammered this home too, but I just don't do it because it's too much work, it's too much maintenance. If I do tier 1 rings only for blogs, guys, that's it. If you want to do tier 2 rings, you can. Just make sure you're adding related content sources at the tier 2 trigger point. You don't want to be populating other content on your tier 1 network, because you don't want to do that. That's your golden frame. Those are your branded properties. Don't put other people's content unless it's curated content which originates from your blog, right? So you don't want to populate your tier 1 branded sites with other people's content unless it's curated content that originates from your blog. If that makes sense. But tier 2 networks, if you're going to do it, just make sure that you're using related content sources at your tier 2 triggers. I don't even go to tier 3, guys. Even for YouTube networks, you can if you want. But I don't do it, and I get plenty of results from my networks. So it's up to you guys. Tier 3, I know people ask about that all the time. Guys, play around. You have the freedom to go out as far as you want with them. It's up to you to put the work in if you want to do it. Personally, I don't, because there's a diminishing return at that point. Like, I haven't seen a big difference between having really powerful 2-tier networks and having 3-tier networks, except that 3-tier networks require a lot more work to put together. So that's why I just don't do it, right? I keep trying to hammer home, guys, that that's, you know, my strategy. You guys are free to do whatever you want, okay? Please experiment. I'm just telling you, like, I only do the tier 1 networks because it's very, very effective for blogs, and it's safe. I don't have to worry about footprint issues, okay? Also, if one was to go down to tier 1s for only websites, which property would be the safe to backlink to, or is another method of tier 2 needed to boost the tier 1? Whew, God, some of these questions. It's safe to link to any tier 1 property. Okay, that's what it is. It's an SEO firewall, guys. That's why we use that to buffer our money site. So you can link to your tier 1 branded properties, any one of them. It doesn't matter which one. Link to all of them. That's what I do. When I take a branded network, I pass it over after it's been built. I pass it over to my link building team. They set up a link building campaign, and they build links to all the properties in the network. If there's 25 properties in the network, all 25 properties get hit with links. Okay? Okay, we got to move on because that's too many questions. Sorry, Dean, but we just can't answer just one person's questions. We'll get to your questions. There's always next week, man. And if you're inside the Facebook group, post some of your questions in there, and we'll get to them as well as some of the moderators that are in there that are helping out because there's a lot of experience in that group. Chris says, regarding network URLs and logos, I understand why you needed the state abbreviation VA on your Gainesville site. What is your best practice when the city name is unique, but it is a small city around 40,000 people? I included the state in the subdomain URL, but is it needed in the URL on the network properties and in the logo? Cheers. Well, the logo doesn't need it. Why would the logo need it? The logo is just an image. It's just a graphic. So that has absolutely zero SEO benefit. There is a branding aspect to it, which is important. But personally, I wouldn't put the state abbreviation in a logo. It just, to me, would clutter it up. But as far as if you have a unique city name, there's no need to put a state abbreviation in the URL because it's a unique city. Now, if you got something like Springfield, like there's got to be at least a dozen, if not more, Springfields in the United States. So I would always put Springfield, like there's a Springfield, Virginia. I would have Springfield, VA as my URL, or as a modifier to identify that it was Springfield, Virginia. But if it was something really unique, then I would just omit that because honestly, it's overkill. You don't need it. I like to keep URLs as short as possible, guys. So.
And we're gonna have to wrap things up pretty quick. We're hitting the 10-minute limit here.
Yeah, we got about.
So I think
maybe time for one, maybe two more.
Yeah, last question, and then we got to get ready for masterclass.
Janet says, I have a friend and potential client that owns a makeup business and has over 1,000 consultants. Wow. Would it hurt the site or YouTube channel if we build IFTTT networks for each consultant with the company's YouTube channel as the trigger so that when a company puts out a video, it is syndicated through all of the consultants' rings? Janet, I'm plus wanting that. If you build 1,000 IFTTT networks and connect it to one YouTube channel, no, it won't hurt. You'd have the most powerful damn YouTube channel I've ever seen in my life. And if you do that, Janet, please share your results with us. It'll take you 3 years to do it, but that would be fantastic. I would love to see that. Hope that makes sense. I haven't pitched it to her yet, but I would love to. Yeah. Could you guys imagine one? Let's say there's 20 properties in the IFTTT networks times 1,000. 20,000 syndications, embeds, backlinks, bookmarks, and social signals for every one upload.
That'd be pretty awesome.
All right, I'm going to answer Kevin's, and then we're done.
All right.
Jesse asked if these will be recorded and made available to members. Jesse, these are the Hump Day Hangouts. They're always recorded, and they're always available. Just go to youtube.com/semantic mastery. They're on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, Jesse, the link's on the page there in case you need it.
Hey, guys, congrats on V2. Sounds like you guys totally killed it. I have a question about email marketing. Is it better to send emails to a scraped cold list in a personal tone or a company tone with, like, an email graphic of my services? Personal tone always gets better opens, Kevin. Always. Is it better to embed a buy button in the email to my SEO service or a link to a landing page to get the highest conversion? A link to your landing page. Any other thoughts you might have in general? As always, thanks. Yeah, Kevin, always go with personalization as instead of a brand. You'll get higher open rates. And do not put a buy button. It won't get clicked. Go with a link. A lot of depends. Email clients a lot of times will actually filter out the image anyways. So you want to go with a link. And a landing page with a strong call to action. Make it a simple landing page too that only has one call to action. Okay, all right, guys, that's it. We've got to do masterclass in a couple minutes. We have a special guest coming on masterclass in just a minute. So those of you that are in that, we will see you in about 9 minutes. Those of you that are not, we will see you next week for Hump Day Hangouts. Thanks for everybody being here. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good one.